6-year-old Sophie Bennett held a large, white envelope tightly against her chest as she stood outside the towering glass headquarters of Harrison Technologies in downtown New York City. The building seemed enormous from where she stood, stretching high into the morning sky, while hundreds of employees hurried through the revolving with coffee cups, briefcases, and phones pressed to their ears. Sophie looked down at her small, pink sneakers before taking a deep breath. Her mother had always told her that courage didn't mean being fearless. It meant doing the right thing even when you were scared. Remembering those words, she pushed open the heavy glass door and stepped inside. The marble lobby sparkled under bright lights. Polished floors reflected the elegant chandeliers overhead, and a large digital screen displayed the company's logo. Businessmen and women walked quickly toward the elevators, barely noticing the little girl standing alone near the entrance. Sophie felt tiny in the middle of the busy crowd. She clutched the envelope even tighter. Inside was an important document and a handwritten letter from her mother, Sarah Bennett, one of the company's janitors. Sarah had worked at Harrison Technologies for more than 10 years. She rarely missed a day, arriving before sunrise every morning to clean the offices before employees arrived. But that morning had been different. Sarah had woken with a high fever and could barely stand. She had tried calling her supervisor, but no one answered. The document she had promised to deliver directly to the CEO couldn't wait another day. "I have to keep my promise," Sarah had whispered from her bed. Sophie had looked at her mother's worried face and made a decision. "I'll take it," she had said. Sarah hesitated. At first, the office was only a short subway ride away, and their kind neighbor had agreed to walk Sophie to the building before heading to work nearby. After reminding her daughter to stay inside the lobby and speak only to the receptionist, Sarah kissed her forehead and handed her the envelope. Now standing inside the massive building, Sophie searched for the front desk. A smiling receptionist noticed her almost immediately. She leaned forward with a puzzled expression. "Hello, sweetheart," she said kindly. "Are you here with someone?" Sophie slowly walked to the counter. She lifted the envelope with both hands. "My mom works here," she answered softly. "Oh, she's sick today." The receptionist nodded with concern. "What's your mother's name?" "Sarah Bennett." The woman typed quickly into her computer. "I see her here. She's one of our janitors." Sophie nodded. "My mom's sick, so I came instead." The simple sentence hung in the air. Several employees waiting nearby stopped talking and looked toward the little girl. One man lowered his newspaper. A woman waiting for the elevator quietly smiled. The receptionist blinked, surprised by the calm determination in Sophie's voice. "And who is this for?" she asked gently. Sophie pointed toward the executive elevators. "For Mr. Michael Harrison." The receptionist's eyes widened. The CEO, Sophie, nodded. "My mom said it was important." Before the receptionist could respond, the executive elevator doors slid open with a soft chime. Several senior executives stepped out, followed by Michael Harrison himself, walking toward the lobby with a tablet in one hand, as assistants hurried beside him. Without realizing it, he overheard the little girl's quiet words. "My mom's sick, so I came instead." Michael stopped in his tracks. The conversation around him faded as he turned toward the front desk, curious to see the young visitor, whose courage had already captured the attention of everyone in the lobby. Michael Harrison slowed his pace and looked toward the reception desk. The conversations in the lobby seemed to fade into the background as his attention settled on the little girl, standing with a white envelope clutched in both hands. She couldn't have been older than 6, yet she stood with remarkable determination, despite the nervous expression on her face. His assistants paused when they noticed he had stopped walking. "Mr. Harrison," one of them asked quietly. Michael raised a hand, signaling them to wait. He walked toward Sophie with a warm smile, careful not to appear intimidating. "Good morning," he said gently. "I couldn't help overhearing what you said." Sophie looked up at the tall man in the dark blue suit. "Are you Mr. Harrison?" she asked. "I am," without hesitation. She held out the envelope. "My mom asked me to give this to you." Michael accepted it carefully. "Thank you." He noticed her tiny hands trembling slightly. She was trying to be brave, but the enormous building and unfamiliar faces had clearly overwhelmed her. "You came here all by yourself?" "Our neighbor brought me to the front door," Sophie explained. "Mom said to stay with the receptionist." Michael smiled. That was very responsible. He opened the envelope. Inside was a neatly folded document along with a handwritten letter. He unfolded the note. "Dear Mr. Harrison, I'm deeply sorry for missing work today. I woke up with a high fever and couldn't even stand without feeling dizzy. I promised this document would reach your desk before this morning's meeting, and breaking my word has been weighing heavily on my heart. My daughter insisted on bringing it because she didn't want me to lose the job that has helped us build our life. I understand if you're disappointed. Thank you for your understanding. Sarah Bennett. Michael read the letter twice. He looked up at Sophie. You carried this all the way here because you wanted to help your mom. She nodded. She works really hard. I know she does. Sophie looked surprised. You know, my mom, I've seen her many mornings, cleaning the offices before anyone else arrives. Sophie smiled proudly. She says every room should shine before people come to work. Michael folded the letter carefully and slipped it back into the envelope. Around them, employees quietly watched the exchange. No one expected the CEO to spend his morning talking with a little girl. Michael turned to the receptionist. Please postpone my first meeting. His assistant looked shocked. But sir, the board members are already waiting. They can wait 10 more minutes. He returned his attention to Sophie. Has your mother seen a doctor today? Sophie lowered her eyes. No. She said doctors cost too much. Michael's expression changed. He understood immediately that Sarah hadn't stayed home because she wanted to. She had stayed home because she was too sick to work. Yet she was still worried about losing her job. Instead of worrying about her health, for the first time that morning, Michael wasn't thinking about business reports or executive meetings. He was thinking about a devoted employee lying sick at home and a little girl who had crossed the city to keep her mother's promise. In that quiet moment, he decided, this family's story deserved far more than a simple thank you.